Aloha mai kako, mahalo nui loa ia o ko pakahi a pau no ka hele ana mai ke ia wepina no Waihona. On behalf of Kanaeokana and all of our network partners, I'd like to take this time to mahalo all of you for joining this session on Waihona, where kumu share resources and ideas with each other to iwaiwaiai ka lahui in order to enrich our lahui. So my name is Kanoe Wilson. I'm the Senior Project Manager with Keala'iwi Kuamo'o that supports Kanaeokana Network of Native Hawaiian Schools. And I'm honored and privileged to be with all of you today to share about Waihona, an online repository for kumu, ohana, and haumana. Mahalo again for joining us today on Kanaeokana Talks. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as we share more about Waihona. So waihona.net, if you'd like to follow us there, and we'll have a chance to actually do a virtual huaka'i today. So just a quick overview of what we're going to be doing today. It's all about fun and also having fun and learning today. So quick overview, ho'olauna, so I introduce myself and who I am. Also going to share with you the mo'olelo of Waihona, give you actually a virtual huaka'i, so we're going to get a chance to see Waihona. And then also makahana ka'ike. So we're gonna have a chance to actually hopefully get you on so I can go through a step-by-step process on how to register, log in, upload a resource, maybe even download a resource, and if we have time, create your own profile. And of course, next steps, we really want you to keep using Waihona. We want you to share your mana'o, and you'll see why, because we're in these early stages of developing our website. And of course, sharing that mana'o and how to do that either through our feedback or our Slack page. So let's get to it. Right, so first of all, mahalo again to Kanaeokana and all of our supporters out there for their ongoing support for the development of Waihona. The mo'olelo of Waihona really starts with an ohana. And as you see here, these two beautiful women, Ekela Kani'aupio Crozier and her daughter, Kalealoha Kani'aupio Crozier, really were instrumental in helping us to really formulate this idea and bring it to fruition. Ekela has been a teacher at kumu for more than 4 decades, where she's created curriculum materials for classrooms in both the public and private settings. She is now currently a Hawaiian culture-based educator, Ike Hawaii educator, over at our Kamehameha School's Maui campus. Her daughter, Kalealoha, attended immersion school as a keiki and graduated Kamehameha School's Maui campus. Kalealoha's goal was to enter into education to give back to the community that raised her and hanai'd her throughout her life. And so recently, she actually started her teaching career at Paia Elementary. But to her surprise, when she went into a classroom, she started to realize that there were no Hawaiian culture-based resources. And a lot of the resources that she actually saw within her classroom, in the immersion classroom, were actually translated from English text. So the first thing Kalealoha did was actually went to her mother and, Mom, where can I find these resources for my Papa Olelo Hawaii, for my immersion kids? And that really was the impetus and started this initiative to create Waihona, an online repository to help our kumu in our immersion schools, as well as all of our kumu through our different Kanaeokana Hawaiian-focused charter schools, and schools now interested in growing Hawaiian culture-based education. And so how might we respond to the needs of our community, the needs of our kumu, the needs of our ohana? This was really through this development of this repository to steward the ike for future generations. And really, again, why Waihona was created. This also became a need within our education community, but it wasn't just only there. We started to see that Waihona had implications that stretched beyond just our kumu and educators. We know it's a need for ohana, who are looking for resources, especially during this time. And of course, our larger kaiaulu, our community, that are looking at ways to share these resources with ohana. And so if we really think about how our kūpuna, or how we walk in our kūpuna's footsteps, where innovation is our tradition, we can look at the Hawaiian language newspapers. Our kūpuna has always been forward thinkers. When it came to ensuring our ike will always be accessible, as in the situation with our many newspaper publications, we knew that during the newspaper explosion, tons of our ike kūpuna were captured, and today we all look to these resources when conducting research or just for pure reading enjoyment. A way that our kūpuna ensured that future generations knew about the richness of our culture. A way to walk in the footsteps of our kūpuna who created the Waihona of New Pepa, and a way to leave a legacy for our future kumu and haumana. And so what is Waihona, you ask? Well, Waihona is a collaborative space where educators create and share lessons and ideas with one another. We are so fortunate because of the need of resources. The Waihona we actually opened Waihona to allow early access for users, and I'll show you why. However, what we want you guys to know, it's not finished. We're actually still adding features to make it even more robust. But it is solid and you can already use it now. And we ask for your patience and grace as we roll out more exciting features over the coming year. The goals of Waihona, as you see, crowdsourcing Hawaiian culture-based education learning materials, a way in which we uphold the olelo no'eau, wa lehu lehu a mano mano ka ikena a ka Hawaii. Great and numerous is the knowledge of Hawaiians. And so we want to continue that legacy today. And also a really important thing, creating systemic change for our educational systems in Hawaii. If you believe in this, let's do a high five social distancing by using your emoji to raise your hand or hold your hand up to the camera. And so enough talking about it, let's take a virtual huaka'i in Waihona. Ehele kākou. And so if you go over to waihona.net, here's our opening page and website. What's really great is you'll actually start to see here up on the top, we have our menu bar where resources, if we click on that, we actually get to see the numerous resources that we actually have right now. Our contributors, all of the awesome people right now that you can join as part of the Waihona movement, our organizations, where we have over 80 organizations throughout our āina and abroad that are part of Waihona. And also you can see more, where here we have badges. So how we've actually gamified your experience on Waihona, as well as assessment frameworks. So for those kumu that are looking at utilizing Eola or Naho Pena'o, you can actually now utilize this site to look for resources. Also on our opening page here, we have a cool feature where in this corner or on the top here, there's a question, olelo Hawaii oi. So if you are olelo Hawaii speaker, you can actually toggle, and now the whole site is translated mako olelo Hawaii. When you go down, you'll notice there are 3 buttons on our opening page: a register button, which we'll soon get to, a roadmap, which takes you currently where we are in the development phase of Waihona. And so as I mentioned earlier, this time we're allowing early access for users. You can see we're currently only in step 3 of actually 11 to fully develop our website. And so you can see in stage 3, right now we're adding additional functionality of search, Google integration, olelo Hawaii, and notification support. Also, we have an updates page. So anytime you want to find out more about what's going on with Waihona, you can click on the updates page and it'll give you a lowdown of what's happening currently in our latest version, as well as any known issues that we have or we know about. And Kalamai, it's taking a while to load, but we'll come back to that. Oh, there we go. And so here's our beautiful leka that we have here. It says aloha and hui to our early adopters. Really what it's talking about is having you help us with growing our pepe li'i, which is our Waihona, and how it's going to be essential for all of you to be part of raising. As we all know, and we always say, it takes a village. And so we're hoping you'll be part of our kaya ulu, our village, to grow Waihona. Also, as I shared earlier, we have listed here any known issues. So if you're starting to see things happen on Waihona as you're using the website, you'll also be able to know that that's what's happening here. And then also any updates as we're rolling out new versions of Waihona as well. So super exciting. We're really excited to bring you guys in. And so with that, let's go ahead and kind of take you guys down, and you can actually see more that's on our opening page here. How really it's really calling out to how you can share, collaborate, and even have fun doing this. Join more than 400 other kumu, and we'll have a chance to see all of our contributors. Again, like I mentioned, over 80 organizations. And so we really want to help spread the word of Waihona and being part of Waihona. Here's more messages that share about being early adopters, how you can be a collaborator for us, and also high-fiving and bringing your A game. If you are a po'o or interested in having your kula organization join Waihona and being part of Waihona, you can also click on this link down here, and it'll take you directly to our Kaianoa Waihona registration, and go ahead and you can fill out this Google form here, and we'll go ahead and get you set up on Waihona. This will allow your organization to have its own special invite code for you and your staff, limahana or even haumana, so that you can then register directly into your organization. And so to get started, if we're ready to get started, you can click on the register button here on the bottom or on the top like you saw. And so when you click on the bottom, there are two ways to create a new account. One is, as I mentioned, if you are a kula or organization, you can actually register through our 80 different organizations that you see here. And once you click on that organization, you'll see this button on the side, and that tells you to continue to step 2. Once you press your button to continue to step 2, it'll take you to then this form here that you'll fill out all of the required fields of the asterisks here. Another way that you can also register on the website is through joining through Hale Kako'o. So if you don't see your organization at this time, go ahead and join through Hale Kako'o. So again, you can just go ahead and fill out either the name of your school or organization, area of expertise, your organization category, area of expertise, and then of course, how did you hear about Waihona? Click on your button to continue, and it'll take you to that same page where then you will fill out all the different required fields. Know that once you've registered into Waihona, what then you'll need to do is actually log in. So in this case, in the top right-hand corner, kalamai, right-hand corner of Waihona, you will see a red button that says log in. Click on that login button and go ahead and fill in your email that you registered under, as well as password. Don't worry, if you forgot your password, just go ahead and click on the link and you can go ahead and reset your password. Kalamai. So we'll go ahead and log in. And once you log in that top right-hand corner where you saw the login button, you'll actually see aloha and your first name. Now let's get to looking more at our resources. So as mentioned earlier, we actually have over 300 resources currently right now uploaded into Waihona, but we're looking for more. So please, if you have resources that you want to share with your kumu, your colleagues, with haumana, with ohana, with your communities, this is the site that you want to come and visit. And as you can see here, we have hundreds and hundreds of resources that have been uploaded by kumu throughout our pai āina. Up on the top, we currently have search filters in which you can then search for your different resources that we have. So for example, if you're looking for grades, anything grade specific, if you click on preschool, you can see all the resources that are now age appropriate for preschoolers. If you're wanting to also look at the types of resources that we might have, activity guides, digital tools, flashcards, and so forth, That's another thing that you can actually look for as well. So if I click on video, these are now all the videos that we see associated with that asset type. So some things to play around when you come into Waihona, you can try all of these different fields. You can actually do more than one. So for example, if I want to see what Keahau Abad has done, has she done anything, not necessarily grade specific, maybe just something my ohana might be interested in, you can actually now search using multiple field search filters. And so we can see here, here's a mind map. Here's some questions about Mauna Kea. So all of these different things that you can, different resources that you can see. Also too, if we look at the contributors, so these are part of actually all 400 plus contributors currently right now participating on Waihona. So you can see all of these beautiful smiling faces of all these kumu throughout our āina from all of our different focused charter schools, Kamehameha campuses, all part of our Kanaeokana network here. And so once you join our Kanaeokana network, you'll actually get to see your lovely profile here. And hopefully if we have some chance, we'll actually have a chance to get you to create your profile today. Also, lastly, on the top, just wanting to share again, here's our different organizations that we have, and over 80 organizations and constantly growing every week. So you can see all the various different ones that we have. All right, so let's get to now contributing a resource. Because I'm sure a lot of you are going, wow, if I have something cool, how do I go about then contributing a resource? And so as you see right here in this corner, you just click on that plus sign and it'll take you right to our page where you can contribute a resource. Now you'll notice that within the contributing a resource, there are red asterisks, as you know, which are the required fields. So let's take you through a step on how to contribute a resource. And so first and foremost, what you want to do is come up with your resource title. So in this case, I've created a Google Doc and share with you folks. So the resource that I'm going to upload is our Aikole episodes, which are Olelo Hawaii episodes that Kanaeokana produces. I'm going to use that resource title. I'm going to enter it here and type it in here. The other thing is that if you have collaborators that may have worked with you, you can actually add their names here as well. So in this case, I'm going to add my fellow collaborators, Makana Garma. You can actually begin to type in names, as you notice here, and their names will then start to pop up. Manuai Peters. The other option is you actually can do the drop down on the side, and then the drop down will take you where you want to go. And so it goes alphabetically by last name. So in this case, I'm going to look for Ekela, who we mentioned earlier before, our Ekela Kani'opi Okrozer. And as you can see, we have, again, over 400, so that's why it takes a little while, but there she is. And then, of course, lastly, I'm going to add our tech support, our Kaipo Kiaha, who helps to film, and then that's where your content collaborators can be added. Next, you also want to add a brief summary. So in this case, normally I add our full name of our episode. Sometimes what happens, it's limited, the title, just to know, let you know, the resource title is limited to only 48 characters. And so if it was longer than 48, a lot of times it'll let you know. Then there's also the full text. So in this case, I'm gonna take all my full text that I have here already. You can also type directly into the field, so just know that you have that option as well. So you can see that we have all of these typefaces. If you wanted to bullet, you can also see all of these different functions that are up here. Also, if you're wanting to do links, this is the link where you can actually add. So in this case, I've already added my link, but if you wanted to add another link, this is the link here, the chain link. Also too, what I normally try to do is add source notes. These are just the optional fields, but I add source notes here that includes where the source is, where it's located. The other two required fields is grade level. So in this case, the video that we're uploading is not grade specific. And then subject or categories, because it's olelo, I normally just use our language arts. And then I also actually add olelo as a cultural perspective. So these are some of the additional fields that you normally wouldn't see in other types of learning management systems or any type of repositories for lesson plans, because really we're focusing in on our Hawaiian culture-based educational learning materials. And so in this case, because aikole is olelo, olelo Hawaii, I click on olelo. Now you have also any of these other fields where learning modalities and thinking about multiple intelligences and how our keiki learn. So kino or kinesiology, using your body. Lolo, cognitive. In this case, we know with olelo, it uses our pepeao, where we're all listening, as well as our waha, where we're speaking. And then you can also do things regionally. So as you can see here, we have one that is Kapai Aina Hawaii, where it's statewide. You see everything across the state. We have Papahanao Mukuakea, which is our Northwestern Hawaiian Islands. Nakai Evalu, as well as then breaking down into our different mokupuni and moku. So in this case, I'm gonna add Kapai Aina o Hawaii. Some of the other boxes that you see here, configuration options for this resource. What this means, allow fans to send me content to add to this resource. This is what we call fan contributions, and this is a really cool feature. So for example, if I click and toggle this switch, what this allows to happen is if a kumu decides to use this resource and say develops a question or a prompt for the students to write or reflect upon, they could actually contribute that resource to this particular episode of iKole or to this resource online. So really cool feature, and I normally turn it on in case kumus are using it and having their students either in Papaolelo Hawaii or in other classes actually watch the video. Another interesting feature we just added was our URL links here. You can actually add more than one. So even though I embedded it in the full text here, I'm actually gonna also add our links here. So in this case, our different links that we have, the episodes are in Vimeo, Facebook, as well as YouTube. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna copy these guys. But I think I have to do them individually. So I'm gonna copy the link and add it right into the URL. And you'll notice it ends up right there for us. I'm gonna do that a couple more times. This one with the Facebook link. And then lastly, the YouTube link. All right, now we have all three links then linked up to our resource here. And one of the latest features that we just came out with, which is super cool, and I know as kumu, we're always looking at ways on how we're aligning our curriculum to standards and different frameworks. We have now this new field for frameworks, assessment, standards, or outcomes. And so if you just click on, you'll see here our drop-down menu. And so for our kumu that are Kamehameha School campuses, or kumu that are in our DOE schools that are familiar with Nahopena'o or Eola, you can actually now align your resource to these different frameworks. Keep in mind that this is actually going to continue to get built out. And so in this case, if I see Eola, I actually can add it there and know that that is also now tied to our Eola learning outcomes. Now, once you've gotten to that point, what you want to make sure you do is you save your resource. So click on the save button, and in the corner, you'll notice a nice green box shows up and says, your progress has been saved. Yay. And so sometimes I would recommend, as you're going through each section, you probably want to save it. The other cool feature that we have is you'll notice here we have a resource language. So in this case, we have English, where you can actually currently, what the current format that I'm in right now. But if I wanted to, I could also input all my information, olelo Hawaii. So if I click on the button, it's going to ask me create olelo Hawaii version, and I'm going to say yes. And so in this case, you'll notice the 3 boxes or fields that are now in yellow, in which where now I'm going to add that information. So again, I'll just go back really quickly, cut and paste, or copy, I should say. Fill in all of our different fields that you see here that are required. And I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to save. And now our progress has been saved. What you'll notice is that once you have your progress saved, this learning assets box is going to open up, as well as we have now a resource cover image. So in this case, I want to upload a thumbnail and a resource cover image. And so in this case, I'm going to go to our thumbnails here. This is our episode 14 of Keoho. I'm going to open that, and voila, there is our thumbnail. I'm going to save the image, so make sure you click on Save Image first, and then you'll see the image turn out as it will once you actually publish onto Waihona. Following that, also you have this field here where you can drag and drop files here. So in this case, if I was to choose on the file, and for example, I wanted to drop the image, I can actually then choose the file, add it here, and you'll notice the button now shows up to upload our file here. Now, one of the interesting things is with this now, what you can actually do is view and update file details. If you remember, one of the aspects of the search filters was asset type. And so when you click on this button, this will actually give you that asset type information. And so in this case, I'm going to add video, which talks about this entire thing, or this entire resource, Kalamai, as being a video. And now we're ready to save again in this process and then publish. Keep in mind during this time that you'll see this red bar here showing up, that this resource will be published as soon as you click on Publish Now, and it will not be reviewed. So currently right now, one of the functions of Waihona, depending on your organization, is that there's actually a review process. We'll touch upon that at a later point in time, but for now, just keep that in mind. And so with that, I'm going to hit our Publish button. Da, 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 da. And voila, it'll give you a green box saying publication success. And this will now show you the text, the links, your learning assets. You'll see the different buttons on the side here, where if you wanted to go back and edit, you actually can. So if I wanted to go, oh, notice there was an incorrect, I could go back and actually edit it. Again, with in mind that any edits that you do, you would have to save and publish again to update it. Now you can see our thumbnail. It'll show the breakdown of the different meta information you entered, the grade level, subjects, so on and so forth. It also shows the publication status on where things are at in regards to the resource. And so once you see everything looks good, you can actually go back to our resources page. And once we go to the resources page and you publish, you'll actually see that it is a new resource now published onto the website. So any new resources will show up new and purple. Any of our Olelo Hawaii resources will also show Olelo Hawaii as well. Nice. So one of the other things that you can, I mean, of course, for a lot of us who are looking at resources and wanting to actually use resources within our classrooms, another easy thing to do, aside from also contributing our resources, is when you're going on and visiting and looking at Waihona, here, for example, is our Ahupua'a maps. And say you're interested in wanting to download some of these Ahupua'a or these resources, once again, you can actually come here and you can click on the resource itself and then it will download, or you can click on this button here as well as this button here. So different types of options in which you can actually now be able to download resources and use them for your classrooms. Nice. One of the other things to actually share with you too is that you'll notice that as I mentioned earlier, we do have badges. So the more you come on and the more you utilize Waihona, upload resources, do different activities here, join the Waihona movement, you'll actually then be able to attain any of these badges when you hit different milestones. So as you can see here, we have different things from IOU, where we, all of us owe it to each other to help grow our community. Kumu for those that are now coming in and utilizing Waihona. Of course, as soon as you're joining Waihona, you get oh hello there. Too cool for school, of course, when you're working as collaborators to then contribute a resource. And then if you have more than a bunch of you, then wanna be friends. So these are cool ways, and actually more badges that we'll be creating as time goes on with Waihona and our website. So now that we've known a little bit about Waihona, we've had a chance to kind of check out the virtual huaka'i of our website. You guys have seen the resources. We've been able to jump on our contributors page and actually check out who is on Waihona. One of the things to also share on that is that we actually have a cool function where you can actually follow different kumu or contributors. So in this case, Hau'oli Akaka, always so Hau'oli. And so we can see here Hau'oli created his beautiful profile. And so if I wanted to follow Hau'oli, if he eventually is going to upload resources, I can actually click on this button here, or I can also star here as well. And so what happens is that when I go back to my contributors page, you'll actually be able to see stars and those that you now follow. So a little social media aspect in Waihona, and hopefully in due time, we'll actually have a chance to see how we can actually directly communicate with one another. And so here we can see with Kehao, she already received a couple badges here, oh hello there, and Kumulipo. We can see her various different contributions here, learn more about who she is, and as you can see, I'm already following her. So again, one of the cool features while participating and being part of Waihona. And so now that we've had a chance to do that, let's go ahead and get you guys create your profile. So again, up in that top right-hand corner where you see Aloha and your name, you're gonna click on that and you're actually gonna be able to have this drop-down menu here where it's gonna say my contributions, my reviews, my organizations, my profile. Let's click on my profile. So when we click on my profile, you'll see here all the different required fields that you need to fill out. So go ahead and enter your name, family name, your full professional name, if, and then as well as adding a bibliography of yourself. When registering, if you folks remember, if you have your invite code from your organization, you'll actually see your organization automatically populated here. That includes if you also sign up through Hale Kako. Know that you can actually reside in more than one organization. So that's what you see here. I'm actually part of several organizations listed within our Waihona. Also, too, don't forget to add your profile image. We like to see beautiful smiling faces on Waihona. Now, once you've done that and added all that information, just go ahead and click on the Save Profile button. And that should save your profile. And so at that point, when you go back to the contributors page, what you'll actually be able to see then, and in this case, because I'm Wilson, so I'm going to be all the way at the bottom. Oh, maybe not all the way now. Now you're going to see your profile page come up. So now you can see your bio, badges that I've earned, as well as all the different contributions that I've contributed onto Waihona. All right, so that's our Waihona virtual huaka'i. And so with that, I'm gonna go right back to our site here to kind of share a little bit more. And so really, why should we engage in Waihona? Well, we all know what's been going on in regards to the lack of resources, and we're gonna need everybody's help for that. And so we want you to be part of this, the crowdsourcing that really shares the ike to iwaiwaiai kalahui, or enrich our lahui. And we need everybody to do that. As we shared, Waihona right now is the pepe li'ili'i, so we need all of us to be part of that. We're also looking for a lot of folks who are interested in broadening our HCBE community. As you can see here, we have right now almost 500 registered contributors. So if you're not one, get on Waihona now. We have over 300 resources right now, and it's growing every day, and we want you to contribute to that. Again, like the new PIPA, we want everybody to be part of this process. We want everybody to be part of this movement. As I shared, over 80 organizations, and through Waihona right now, we've seen 100% participation by our Kanaeokana school. So that's really awesome. And we want you guys all to be part of this. It's really a grassroots way to change our educational system in Hawaii. And this way it's actually gonna be providing resources directly to our communities. The other thing is to support professional growth for kumu. We know that happy kumu means happy haumana, and we want all our kumu to be happy out there. This is really a way in which we're building in all of these different motivators to help with how each of us can kāko'o one another. And so a way in which our kumu can share a digital portfolio. And a lot of times we know kumu go through board certifications. Some of us might be going through a graduate program right now. It's also a way to help organize lessons and materials needed for each of your lessons and your curriculum. So this is a great resource for our kumu and for all of us, our ohana as well. And then of course, supporting ohana learning at home. We all saw this and we're all experiencing this right now. And so this website here allows us to access these learning resources and materials for Keiki at home, for Haumana at home. And so really it's coming down to how we are able to share with our ohana resources and materials developed by organizations, by our kumu, for our community, by our community, and for our community. So we took our virtual huaka'i. This again just shares with you how to register and log in. So if you haven't registered yet, get onto waihona.net and join Waihona. As I shared with you, these are just ways on how to do it. If you're interested in knowing if your school is a part of it, contact your po'o. If you're a Hawaiian focused charter school, all your po'os should have that information. If not, you can also contact us directly. Also ways in which you can create an account through Hale Kāko'o as well. So if you don't see your organization or kula there, again, you can join through our Hale Kāko'o as well, as I mentioned earlier. Don't forget to create that new account, and most especially at the bottom, read that agreement so that you know, and then make sure you click on that box. I have read and agreed to the Kuleana agreement. Because again, Kuleana is the boss, and we know that. And so once you've created your account, you'll have access to Waihona. You can then log in and check out all of the different resources and really have fun. Oh, kalamai. So what's next? Well, go log in, create your account, and have fun. Go on a huaka'i, explore, click, download, and use what you find. And don't forget to contribute your own resources to help other kumu and ohana. If you encounter any bugs or have ideas for future development, let us know. There are two ways that you can actually do that on our website. One is through our Slack channel button here. So just click on that button, as well as our submit feedback button that you see here. So two ways that you can get in touch directly with our development team to really share mana'o, because that's what we're looking for again. You can also help decide what features we will build next. So this is some exciting times again, gang. Please join us on Waihona. Here's how you can reach our tech support. So for technical support and feedback, this is the fabulous team that we have working on actually developing the website. So know that this website right now is being built by Kanakas for Kanakas. So again, the beauty about Waihona right now is our lahui is building this from the ground up. And that's really what is exciting about it. So you've got our technical support team here. Those of you who are part of schools or organizations and need support, you can contact me, Kanoe Wilson. There's my email there. And get in touch with your kumus, your po'os. If you're interested, I can come out to your kulas and actually do professional development on how to utilize Waihona at your kulas. And with that, we want to mahalo you guys again for the opportunity to share with you in this session of Waihona. And so mahalo nui, a hui ho, malama pono. Come back and visit us again at waihona.net. Aloha.